We're talking about performing. You see, all the world is a stage. This is a play, this is a dream, and in the old program, it felt as though it was being played outside in, not inside out. I said before that, the outer reality that we have is a reflection of the internal reality inside. And because of the fact that there's a program that is reinforced in our Nigerian society of how is it going to look outside? How am I perceived outside? The outside is the determinant of what the inside is, or the outside validates the inside, if that makes sense. Let me dwell on that. Okay, there's this program that we have that runs in society about how Nigerian parents, they don't see certain things unless outsiders see certain things. You understand? So let's say you're a great artist, or there's something that you do, or there's a way you are that you've always been and they've seen it, but they've not really acknowledged it. If they see somebody outside that they hold in high esteem, or maybe even the public or something, give you validation about that thing that you are or that you do, that's when they're not like, maybe, you understand? That thing that we say of is when they hear it from their friends that they now believe us or something. It's a reflection of the whole program of outside dictates the inside, and it shouldn't be so. So where does that come in line with performing? With performing, it's kind of like, we have to give out a certain impression externally, forgetting about the inside. Some people forget about the inside. Some people make inside the second thing to worry about. The first thing is the outside thing. There's nothing wrong in caring about how you look outside. There's nothing wrong with external views about you. Okay, everybody's meant to comport themselves. Everybody's meant to carry themselves well, fine. However, like I said, infinity sign, polarity. You have two versions of things. You have the light and dark. You have the opposites of things. Okay, so if you have the external, you have the internal. You can't just focus on one thing. Imagine a seesaw or a beam. So you can't focus on this side of the beam. You have to focus on the middle, the balance that makes the beam stand like this, not like this. Okay, so it's like a seesaw. A lot of people focus on one thing and tend to forget the other, but it's meant to be like this, polarity. You're meant to accept the good with the bad, meaning that you're meant to accept the internal and the external, not just putting all efforts on external only. Our program here in Nigeria definitely is, who am I portraying myself as on the outside? Forget about the inside. Who am I portraying? How do people see me? Does that make sense? And obviously, like if we narrow it down to Lagos, we've seen different movies of, okay, in pop culture, Mike Ezoronye's movie, Lagos Fake Real Life. We've seen Jennifer's Diary, in which I feel like there was some girls that were pretending to be rich, but in real life they were squatting. Appearances equal for show, showbiz. There's nothing wrong with showbiz as long as what you're showing on the outside can match the inside. Okay, maybe you exaggerate the outside a bit, that's okay, it's showbiz. However, if the character you're portraying externally does not even match who you are internally, aren't you going to be in conflict? It's not rocket science. Aren't you going to be in conflict? The truth is, another program that we have that needs to be uninstalled is the program of being in Discord, having internal conflict and just running with it. A lot of us are okay with that war within us. Who am I supposed to be? Who am I meant to not be? Performing for your parents, performing for your society, performing for your, what's the right word? Is it your group or your, there's a word. Performing for your, God. Okay, let's say performing for your crowd, like the crowd that you fall into. Performing for your crowd, performing. When in reality, you're meant to be only performing for you and for God. That's the truth. You are, honestly, think of life as a bullseye, all right? And you are the one you are the arrow. So you are the bow as well. So you're pulling yourself back with whatever obstacles that you face in life, challenges, whatever. And you are sharpening your focus to that bullseye, the middle circle, and then you let go. And then you're propelling yourself forward to hit your target. When you are performing for other people, you are paying attention to distractions. You're paying attention to this image that people have conceived of you in your head. Meanwhile, if you're just focusing on what you felt or who you felt you really are through the art of remembering who you are from self-love, if you focus on who you really are at the heart of it and focus on who God has made you to be and God wants you to be, because you'll be divinely guided, you know how you're meant to be, where you're meant to go, what you're meant to do. If you just focus on that, I tell you, darling, the show that you're giving is going to be 10 times, even 100 times better than the show that you're giving now. Everything is showbiz, you understand? However, it's like, why am I not performing authentically? Why am I not performing for myself only? Why am I giving other people the avenue to dictate who this character is on stage? It's like going on Broadway. You are the actor. The people there are the people that the spectators are the ones that are watching. You're not listening to somebody in row C saying, oh, stop shouting so much. Your character is so aggressive. You now dim your character. Meanwhile, you already have the script that you're meant to play. You already know that your character is meant to be aggressive. You already know your character is meant to have that demeanor. It's in line authentically with your character. However, you're allowing Rosie City to, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Rosie Atedi or whatever to dictate your character. Does Rosie know the script? Rosie paid to see you perform, honey. You don't give your power away in showbiz. You are the actor. You understand? You are the main character. Everybody else is a spectator. Everybody else is watching this show for free. So you give them a damn good show. But most importantly, you give yourself a damn good show first. Like I said, you serve yourself first before you serve other people. So if I'm going to perform, I'm going to perform for myself first and foremost, and everything else comes second. If I enjoy my performance and a lot of people do not, I'm okay with that, because I know that I perform to the best of my ability in a way that would make me proud of my performance. Does that make sense? Just think about that. If you're performing, let it be that you're performing in line with your real self, your authentic character. Okay? Thank you. Hola, darlings. So here we are in another class on performing. You know I'm an old Hollywood honey. You know I was here before time. And one thing I love is the arts. Expressing yourself. All kinds of expression is my thing, okay? So when I found out that today's topic was on performing, I knew that I had to bring out my woman's Bible. This is Women Who Run with the Wolves. A bit worn because obviously life. However, it's a very important book because it talks about restoring your intuition. It talks about not performing for others. Yes, the glasses must come off because we are reading. It talks about not performing for others, being connected to yourself, being intuitive, tapping into your intuition, tapping into your creative instinct, your wild instinct, okay? It talks about a lot of things, and I bookmarked a page in which it spoke about performing. In this story is a story about a tailor and a man that wanted to buy a suit from him, okay? So with this story, you get an idea of what I'm about to tell you. Let's read. Oh yes, and I just want to say this is an endorsement for reading. We love reading over here. Reading is so important. Thank you. So a man came to Sabo, a tailor, and tried on a suit. As he stood before the mirror, he noticed the vest was a little uneven at the bottom. Oh, said the tailor, don't worry about that. Just hold the shorter end down with your left hand and no one will ever notice. While the customer proceeded to do this, he noticed that the lapel of the jacket curled up instead of lying flat. Oh, that, said the tailor. That's nothing. Just turn your head a little and hold it down with your chin. The customer complied, and as he did, he noticed that the inseam of the pants was a little short, and he felt that the rise was a bit too tight. Oh, don't worry about that, said the tailor. Just pull the inseam down with your right hand and everything will be perfect. The customer agreed and purchased the suit. The next day, he wore his new suit with all the accompanying hand and chin alterations. As he limped through the park with his chin holding down his lapel, one hand tugging at the vest, the other hand grasping his crutch, two old men stopped playing checkers to watch him stagger by. Oh my God, said the first man, look at that poor crippled man. The second man reflected for a moment, then murmured, yes, the crippling is too bad, but you know, I wonder, where did he get such a nice suit? So you see what I'm saying? Now, what this goes on to say further after the story It says the reaction of the last old man constitutes a common cultural response toward a woman who has developed an impeccable persona but who is all crippled up with trying to maintain it. Well, yes, she's crippled, but look at how nice she looks. Look at how good she is. Look at how well she's doing. When we become dried out, we try to walk all crippled up in order to appear that we are handling everything, that all is well and just so. Whether it is the soul skin that is missing or the culture-made skin that doesn't fit, we are crippled by pretending it is otherwise. But when we do this, life is diminished and the cost to ourselves is very high. So, getting a bit deep in here, we're talking about performing for culture, performing for the external, and as a result of that, being crippled on the inside. Is it worth, diminishing yourself, suppressing yourself, crippling yourself in order to give off a certain impression outside? It's not. Trust me, I'm speaking from a place where I know that I was performing for everybody around me. I was a people pleaser, doing the most to give off this impression that I was such a good person, because there's a program in Nigeria, as well as maybe say the whole world, but in Nigeria, let's focus on Nigeria. There's a program in Nigeria that has to do with overextending to seem like a good person. You do the most because you want to be seen as good. You allow people to get away with a lot of things because you want to be seen as good. You are good without boundaries. Does that make sense? So there's a whole persona performing thing going on here. But what I'm trying to say is this: is it worth performing at the expense of your soul? Is it worth performing at the expense of your real self coming out? It's not, because you feel caged. So truth is what sets us free. If you're choosing to perform and be part of showbiz, because let me tell you something, Lagosians are the biggest showbiz people. I just wish that we could use it in the right way, in the sense that if we're going to be in showbiz, all of us do it. So I'm not calling anybody out. A lot of us perform in certain ways that are not authentic. So it's not like, oh, we're better than anybody over here. No, we each have our own flaws and we're just calling it out. So what I'm trying to say is this: there's nothing wrong with being a showbiz person, okay, as long as you're doing it in the right way. Last class, we said if you have a good side and you have a bad side and you balance it out, it tends to work well, in the sense that, okay, this is something that I do. I like to perform for the external. Let me carry that talent of performing for the external and turn it so that I'm performing for the internal, and as a result, it reflects externally. Does that make sense? Instead of performing for the external, for other people outside of you, perform for you first and watch your external reality positively reflect that. Do things from a place of, what would I want to see? How would I want to experience this? What would I think of me? Not what would other people think of me, or what impression am I trying to give to other people? No, because it's like bondage, okay? The truth is really what is important here. Performing our truth, because we are all in a movie, but for us, some of us need to change the script of performing for other people, and we assess that, okay, you know what, time to start performing for me. Time to start moving in line with my true persona, my true character. Say the things that my true character will say, do the things that my true character will do, not what culture wants me to do, not what culture wants me to be, okay? That's what I'm saying. And once again, to reiterate, it's like we have this flaw, or most of us have this flaw. It's a dominant program of performing for something, giving an idea that we're more than what we really are, or we're less, just giving an idea. And the truth is, if you put all that effort in a good way, like carry all that energy and put it into, direct it to you, like, okay, I'm performing for me, I'm doing things the way I want it to, the way I want things to be. I'm watching this film and I'm acting in the way I would love me as an audience of myself to be. Trust me, you will go places, all right? So that is my segment. First time I'm removing my glasses, darling. Honestly, this is not something you'd catch me doing all the time, but this spaceship is making me feel so comfortable. So I said, okay, you know what? I might not be wearing these shades all the time. Wow, gross. Anyway, that's my segment, and honestly, I really hope you took something from this class. So let's see what happens next time. Bye.